Welcome to the Wolfpacker Weekend Preview. I'm your host, Thomas Frank Carr. Who am I? Let's start there. First time I've been on your channel. I'm a film analyst for On3. I also work over at the Blue White Illustrated channel for Penn State football for On3. I break down film, I watch it, and I give people what I see on film. Try to give people, if you don't know something about football, hopefully I can teach you something. And if you do know about football, I'm here to tell you what's going to happen this upcoming weekend, the strengths and weaknesses of the other team, some key characteristics, and then some stats to back all of that up. So that's what I do. Hope you enjoy that. We're going to get into the show, and we're going to keep making sure it gets better and better as we go throughout the remainder of the end of the season. So hopping in here a little bit late. Please excuse me if some names aren't properly pronounced. I'm doing my best, but I do have a background with NC State, so I'm familiar with the team, and I'm familiar with the opponents coming up because that's my job. Let's get into Florida State. Florida State, if you watch them play football over the last couple of years, especially on the defensive side of the ball, which is where we're going to start, you know what they're about. They want to play press man coverage. They want to have superstar corners and athletes on the field, take away your passing game, shut down your offense, drop a safety in the box. It's all over. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. This is a suffocating defense. That's great if you have Jalen Ramsey or Asante Samuel Jr. or heck, Derwin James. Those are all great Florida State players. What happens if you don't have those players, though? Some key transfers, maybe Florida State not being as good and people don't really want to go there as much, led to some problems on that side of the ball in this particular style of defense, which requires a fresh batch of uber athletes every year. And if you can stop Jermaine Johnson and his 9 sacks and 27 pressures, which I think that NC State can do, then you have some opportunities in the secondary with your receivers. And that's where we're going to start, is the receivers versus man coverage for NC State. Thayer Thomas and Emeka Emezi, I think, are going to be the key players in this situation. But really, it's the entire offense from the running backs to Chris Tootle at tight end in the slot. And, of course, these two guys at receiver. Emezi, great physical jump ball receiver. I love the way that he and Devin Leary work the back shoulder game, because that is going to be a part of this. If you've got sticky coverage, and they aren't bad, it's just that they don't play consistently for Florida State. They can have 2 or 3 good reps, but the way Devin Leary is playing and how he's putting the ball down the field into tight windows, I do think this is an advantage for NC State. You see Emeka Emezi with 9 receptions for 145 yards in single coverage. And Thayer Thomas, the impressive part is, despite the fact that he only has 68 yards, he also has caught 75% of the passes in man coverage thrown his way. So that is, I think, an advantage for NC State. Now, Thayer Thomas in the slot is going to be a really interesting matchup depending on where Florida State deploys their best secondary player, and that'd be Jamie Robinson. Now, he's a safety, and I think they're going to have him lined up over Chris Tootle in this situation because of the positional matchups, but if they put him over Thayer Thomas, that's going to be a really fun matchup. He plays coverage really well. He lines up in the slot primarily, but he is a safety, so he does line up deep, and he'll also line up in the box. So the way they want to rotate their safeties, I think that's going to be a part of this of, do they rotate him down onto the strong side, and they want to take away the run that way, or do they just say, Thayer Thomas is not catching the football, we're going to put our best player on him? That'll be a fascinating matchup, but I think either way, the pass catchers for NC State, there are more good players than Florida State has players to cover them. So that's right there, to me, that's the deciding factor in this game. Because on the other side, Florida State has not been good at protecting their quarterback, Jordan Travis. This has been a problem all season long, especially on the right side. They are the lowest in efficiency in pass blocking in the ACC, 84.3. By the way, anything lower than like 87 is terrible in the PFF metrics. On the right, they have 3 players that are all in the bottom 5 at their position in terms of total pressures given up in the ACC. Now, they've had a revolving door at center, but the player that has been playing the most, Maurice Smith, he's only played the last 5 games. He's already given up 8 pressures, which is in the bottom for all centers in the ACC. So again, I don't know that NC State, if there's one area on their defense I don't think they're terribly great at, they're very good run stuffers, but it takes a village for them to get to the quarterback. So that to me is why this is going to be a big Drake Thomas game. Now, Vi Jones leads all linebackers in total pressures on blitzes. But on the team, Drake Thomas is the best situational pass rusher. His ability to blitz is very, very impressive. So him being at the point of attack in the run game, which we'll get to in a second, and his ability to get pressure on the quarterback, that's going to be critical to stopping this team, because I do believe that with stunts and some timely blitzes and some timely twists, they're going to be able to get to the quarterback, and they're going to make the day really tough for Jordan Travis, and it's going to be a lot of that on Drake Thomas. And now why he's important is that in the run game, last week versus Louisville, one of the struggles that NC State had is that just the speed of Louisville, but also the scheme plus the speed. They run the outside zone, and what that does when you have speed and tailbacks with good vision is it makes every gap count. You can't miss a gap in the offensive line in your run fits, and that's not Florida State. Florida State doesn't run zone. They run a lot of power. They are the most power-heavy team, from counter to power to straight man blocking, of any team in the ACC. They want to run you over. And keeping Jordan Travis in the pocket and keeping him contained in the run game based off these looks is going to be why I think Drake Thomas is the most important part of this game for the NC State defense, because he's going to have to corral the running game, which is at one focal point. It is not like he can take away one part of the game and then the backside can wash out and there can be a big run again. When you know the intended point of attack based on where they're going, he can get there, and again, he can be the hair on fire, locks flowing, his lettuce in the wind sort of guy. That's going to be what he has to be in this game, and based on, again, his production, and you can see he has 2 interceptions, by the way, not 14, to lead the NC State team. I think that's going to be another deciding factor for NC State, is they're just good at this in particular. They're good at attacking a more physical, upfront, straightforward, run-blocking sort of team. A team that is not using space and speed. They're much more of a physical, we're going to get Daniel Joseph on the edge, and we're going to gum everything up, and we're going to make you bounce. And then when you do, it's over because our defense flows to the ball. So really, those are the 2 biggest things. Is you want to keep Jordan Travis in the pocket. By the way, that's the other thing, is you want to keep him in the pocket. I don't know that this is going to be a great pass rushing game, because when you look at the way he throws the football and the way that Florida State runs their offense, they want him out of the pocket. When he's standing and delivering, he's a little slow in his reads. He misses some open throws. He misses badly on some throws. And he's generally at his best when he's scrambling or running to either side. He's not a guy that you want to keep in the pocket. So keeping him in the pocket, deciding to keep him there, and then allowing guys like Drake Thomas to go after him, I think that's going to be the key to victory for NC State in this game. And they can do it. They have the offense and the defense built to win this game. It should not be a problem. The only part that I would say is that Florida State has a good run defense. And if the running game is not supplementing the passing game, those RPO windows get a little smaller. You have to go to more of the screen game on the outside, and Florida State is active and fast there, so they'll be able to counter that. But I think enough big plays, or even just good plays in the passing game, is going to be able to offset that, which is why I think NC State is a clear favorite in this game. Not that you would be surprised if you looked at their records or how well they've played this season. So that's a Wolfpacker weekend preview. I'm your host, Thomas Frank Carr. We'll be back next Friday.